Chapter 2. The Geneva Simulator. You have two choices. Go big or fuck off. I put my suitcase in a dad's boot with an autumn drizzle bidding me farewell. We set off for the Emirates flight, waiting to jet me to a Geneva Simulator interview. Dad presses play on his usual mix of Leonard Cohen, Lou Reed, Talking Heads and Dire Straits. I don't know too many people who have flown business class around the world for job interviews. You must have a pretty spectacular dad. Yeah, he's not too bad. He's probably a total stud with the ladies too, you'd have to think. Yeah, he goes alright. We pull into Kingsford Smith. Talking Heads' Road to Nowhere is blasting. Now, I may not have any words of wisdom for you, dumb kid, but I do know this. If I could bet on anyone excelling in any situation at all, I'd put the house on you, mate, and I'd win every time. Cheers, Super Dad. Oh, if they ask any really tricky questions, just remember, look at it this way. Dad looks me in the eye, then tilts his head to the side, holding me in a confused, constipated stare. I'll definitely remember that one. Safe travels, mate. I'll be thinking of you. Thanks, SD. Wouldn't be dead for quids, eh? Nah, not a chance. I grab my suitcase and hold my head side on as I wave Dad goodbye. I walk on in to complete all the usual checking in, scanning through, form-filling sort of rigmarole that's required to board a plane. My business class ticket does entitle me to wait for my flight in the business class lounge. Air travel, the true bastion of class division and social inequality. So civilised. Regardless of how much money I could ever make, there will never come a point where I could justify forking out the cash required to fly any other way but in the cramped confines of cattle class. But when someone else wants to foot the bill, then please, pass the caviar. I arrive in Geneva on Monday afternoon, feeling $1 million. Anyone with the audacity to whinge about business class travel can fuck right off. Once I'm checked in at the hotel, I set off walking through town, around the lake, Geneva on a Monday afternoon in late spring. Gorgeous. To be perfectly honest, it's a pretty odd place. Signs everywhere for ridiculously overpriced watches and handbags. Serious-looking people carrying briefcases, baguettes and stern faces. 17 francs for a ham and cheese croissant. That seems a bit pricey. Groups of peeved-looking black youths abound on street corners, looking menacing, freestyle rapping in French. I hesitate a moment, assessing the pedestrian tunnel ahead. Nigerians hang out all around it. CNN pre-programmed racism is powerful stuff. Ah, fuck it. I may as well. Live a little. G'day, fellas. Hello. I loosen the grip of my wallet as I stroll through and off down to the street, Mont Blanc smiling down in the distance. Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. I'm seated in the large boardroom with 17 other candidates. It's safe to assume the table is mahogany. Steve wasn't kidding. The UN would be proud to see such diversity in a room. I'm scared shitless, megalitres out of my depth, certain to vomit any moment. Yeah, I'm ready. Along the wall stand a group of maybe a dozen Scion staff, all gents. One steps forward to the end of the table. Welcome everyone, we're delighted to have you here. I'm Steve Pemberton, Head of Global Recruitment and in charge of our Junior Trader program. I've spoken with all of you over the phone and we'll be sure to meet each of you today. Firstly, congratulations on being here. We received close to 5,000 applications. No easy task assessing all of those, but much more difficult to stand out in such a big crowd. So well done. Secondly, I want you to enjoy today. It will be stressful, no question. We will be assessing every single thing you do, which is obviously awful. Please, be yourselves and just enjoy the challenge. And finally, if successful, we want you to slot straight into a trading desk, learn the ropes in the shortest time possible, and be trading metals, oil, or both in a commercial role in the very near future. I will now hand over to Mr. Joel Ryan, our Head of Far East Trading and Senior Director. Thanks, Steve. Welcome once more, everyone. You are all obviously tremendously gifted and smart. Today we want to see how you react to situations which we deem critical in the successful day-to-day functioning of a physical commodities trader. There are 18 of you here today. If you are all exceptional, we will hire all of you. If you're all atrocious, we'll hire no one. There is no quota. So please, you are not in competition with each other. Do your best, have fun. Myself and a whole bunch of other senior traders and members of Scion will be asking you questions and assessing your every move throughout the 3 tasks we've arranged for today. As Steve said, this is awful for you. Sorry, it's critical in assessing you. I will now pass over to David Simmons. He's in charge of the nitty-gritty of how today will work. Listen closely, enjoy, and good luck. David steps forward and outlines Simulation Day. Game 1 is an individual task lasting 84 minutes, divided into 12 7-minute trading windows, each window designed to represent 1 trading week, 12 windows designed to replicate a 3-month trading period. We will receive an email at the start of each window containing information about all manner of events, and we'll have until the 6-minute and 59-second mark of that window to ring one of the brokers. That is, one of the Scion people seated in the room, manning the phones, and buy or sell January or February crude oil futures contracts or January or December gasoline futures contracts. The email will contain the opening price of the crude and gasoline futures, as well as various other pieces of market information. Prices may shift throughout the 7-minute window. Markets rely on prices moving, otherwise traders face extinction. Each candidate will have 2 computer screens to work with. One with an email account to receive the 7-minutely updates, the other with an Excel spreadsheet to use as a trading blotter. We will also have a notebook, pencil, calculator and a phone to call the brokers. At all times, a Scion trader will be seated next to each candidate, asking questions and assessing, while other Scion staff will be roaming the room, asking questions if they want to, and assessing from afar. David finishes his outline of the next 84 minutes with, "It's not necessarily about making money. It is about being able to articulate your strategic reasons for the trades you make and reacting to news and price movements throughout and placing new trades accordingly, taking profits, stopping losses, increasing or decreasing exposures." Despite this pep talk, I'm sure if you do make a lot of imaginary money, that has to help your well-paid cuntiness prospects. The 4th trading window pushes into the 3rd minute. The emails firing out every 7 minutes are usually 4 to 5 paragraphs long, essentially in the format a newsreader delivers to the nation each night. Only there are no wooden smiles or flirting with weather ladies here. Like most news, the emails contain all manner of information, mostly useless. A new iPad has been released. It is anticipated to be the fastest selling Apple product in history. The UK is considering implementing new measures to decrease welfare dependence. There are reports of evacuations at the Norwegian county of Hordaland as Statoil's Mongstad refinery explosion causes havoc for local rescue officers. The Mongstad refinery is Norway's largest. President Obama has declared the continued resistance to his planned Medicare changes is against the best interests of all Americans. 3 weeks ago, I would have been absorbed in wondering about what this latest iPad might look like. How much did the UK spend on welfare? What were the specific details of Obama's Medicare changes? Not now, though. Those details are speed-read through and determined without hesitation to be fluff, standing in the way of meaningful, market-moving information. I'm loading up a short position in crude oil, length in gasoline. "Why do you have that position, Flynn?" Joel asked politely over my shoulder. "Large refinery outage, decreased need for input crude, market short refined product, gasoline." It seems straightforward enough. "Exactly. Now why are you being such a fucking pussy? Short 50 lots crude, long 30 lots gasoline. You're nowhere near your wristling with those pathetic trades, mate." I am a pussy, no intestinal fortitude to back myself, just a pair of delectable beef curtains. "Strap it on, Flynn. Strap it fucking on, son." Joel's towering over me at my seat as I tremble with fear, quivering like the pussy I am about to be royally fucked. Yep, gotcha." I mean, what are you supposed to reply? Nod, smile, and strap it the fuck on. It's the right trade, so either go big or fuck off. With that, he thunders off, his shirt half tucked in, his sleeves rolled up, stalking the room for prey, victims to abuse, vilify, generally make sure that if they get through today without falling in a heap, crying for their creator and pleading for mummy, then maybe, just maybe, they are indeed top-notch material for a role in the commodities trading business. As he storms off, I ring the broker. "Where's your bid? 400 lots, Jan crude. Yours. Cheers. An offer in 300 lots, Jan gasoline. Mine. Thanks." I update my blotter and steal a glance over my shoulder. "Kenneth, what the fuck are you doing? You stupid fucking retard. I told you already, that is a bad trade. Fuck it off. Why do you still have it on? Why? Why the fuck? You sure are one dumb cunt, Kenneth." Mr. Joel Ryan, hopefully my future boss, has just decimated Kenneth, a fellow candidate. I met Kenneth last night at the hotel. A pleasant enough lad from Korea. He talked a big game about having a degree in pure mathematics and trading electricity futures in London or some shit. It's probably a lie he tells his mates, parents and, naturally, chicks. He is more likely some shit kicker in a bank or trading firm who thinks by sitting near a trader, he is one. Asians, on the whole, like to think they're good at maths. Maybe they are, who cares? It's fucking maths. Maths sucks. Trading isn't maths. Accounting, physics, mathematics, that's maths. Go do that if you're so good at maths and love it so much. Get your rocks off on Microsoft Excel, you deranged weirdo. Kenneth's day is, so far, not going well. Fantastic. This is not your typical interview process, and it's becoming clear This is not your typical modern castrated sort of company. I smile, starting to feel right at home, and try to swiftly piece together what Kenneth has indeed so supremely fucked up and how to do the opposite immediately and in size. The final trading window closes. 84 minutes elapsed in an arrhythmic heartbeat, 12 7-minute slices of pain and glory, brow rubbing and phone calls, questions and bullshit-stained answers now behind me. I'm told to save my spreadsheet blotter and email it to the assessor's address. I've amassed close to 10 million imaginary dollars. There are scribbles and notes all over my desk. My direct assessor, who's been seated next to me for the duration, asking questions and being fat, John, a rotund Cockney Englishman with thick glasses and a thicker neck, scribbles some final notes on his pad and says, "Nice work, geezer." He rises out of his chair with clear difficulty and waddles away, I assume to the men's to unleash hell. There's a 15-minute recess. I'm standing in a smallish room by the side of the trading floor with the international assortment of fellow wannabe cunts, having a biscuit and black coffee. I've travelled the furthest to be here today, but I'm impressed with the breadth of geographical bases Sihon has scoured in its search for talent. There's obviously Kenneth, from Korea. He's a broken man. I hear him tell someone he lost 15 million in the game. I'm euphoric. There's Dan from Canada, a nice fella and rock climbing fanatic. Andrea from Cape Town, legs from heaven complemented by a divine rack. Definitely would. Fred from Belgium, which unsurprisingly reminds me of Dr. Evil's web-feet prostitute mother. I don't have time to meet everyone. Ravi from Mumbai is fascinated with me. He thinks, quite incorrectly, that based on my Australianness, I give something of a toss about cricket. I hate cricket. He rattles on about some test match that went on for 5 days in the searing heat of some Hindu-forsaken scorched oval in Calcutta. It ended in a draw, for fuck's sake. Cricket lovers, and sports fans in general, can waffle through nonsense conversations like this for eternity. Do they not understand the whole exercise is a farce? The Ravis of the world, and there are billions of them, can't see the whole charade of professional sports for what it really is. The ultimate showground for bookmakers to fix the lot and make trillions, while shoe salesmen, grog peddlers and tobacco pushers seize the opportunity to entice you into superfluous consumables, while your life disappears in a damp seat at some stadium or on a soft couch in a suburban home. I mean, come on, get with the program. We remain gathered in the glass bubble, a room of coffees, biscuits and nervous tension. All of us are looking into the vacant trading floor of computer screens and keyboards. Along the walls are sporadic windows, dreary and dull, with Geneva's attempt at muzzled spring sunshine failing to provide any meaningful light. David passes each of us a piece of paper outlining the rules of Game 2. There will be 4 trading windows, each lasting 20 minutes. You have been placed into pairs for this exercise. Please check the board behind you now, find your partner and introduce yourself. Despite the high probability that each of the candidates in this room is extremely intelligent, human herd stupidity prevails. 17 university-qualified morons race for the board simultaneously. I grow in confidence, watching these fools scurry as though it's first to see their name wins. I stand back and wait. David notices and gives me a nod. "You're Flynn, yes?" I come back to the moment at hand. A Middle Eastern-looking young woman with an American accent introduces herself, shakes my hand, smiling. "Hi, yes, nice to meet you. Sarah." Thankfully, we're all wearing name tags. "Where are you from, Flynn?" "I'm from Sydney. You?" "Lebanon, originally, but I've lived in America since I was 10. I actually have relatives in Sydney, though. I've never had the chance to visit them." "Cool. So we're a team then, yeah?" "Yep, you and I. Dynamic duo. Let's smash this shit." Based on first impressions, this Lebanese Yankee is one cool chick. I feel we've got a shot in this next game. David allows the group a minute for introductions. "Okay, hopefully for all your sakes, your partner is smarter than you. Now, this game is concerned with freight markets. At the beginning of each window, you will be given an update on the price of copper in various ports throughout the globe and the quoted freight rates to ship goods from these ports to Shanghai and San Francisco, where your clients await shipment. You will also receive a news report of prevailing market conditions for copper and other commodities, financial instruments such as foreign exchange and currencies, and general news. Your sole requirement is to deliver a minimum of 25,000 tonnes of copper to Shanghai or San Francisco and up to a maximum of 100,000 tonnes. Along with that requirement, you want the shipment to be profitable. Prices will fluctuate, opportunities will present themselves. Larger shipments may carry cost benefits, but with added risks. You will again receive all this information via email at the outset of each 20-minute window. You're entitled to completely lock down your cargo, costs, profits or losses within the first trading window. That would obviously be a little silly. We didn't create the 4 windows for that purpose, but you can do that if you think it's a good option. Again, trades are to be executed via calls to the brokers and documented on your trading plotters. You may lock in a price in an earlier window and then look to unwind it and start again in later windows. That is perfectly fine and may well prove to be a profitable strategy. This game will require more analysis than Game 1. Calculating freight costs will require some thought and consideration. As per Game 1, your direct assessor seated next to you will be questioning you about your decisions, but now they will also serve as a resource for you to ask questions of, as you deem necessary. Good luck. Decide at which desk of your pair you want to set up shop, and we'll commence in 3 minutes. Sarah is an Excel superstar. In less than 5 minutes, she absorbs each parameter of the game into a spreadsheet to calculate ideal freight rates at which we can maximise tonnage and profits. It provides a clear and concise comparison of San Francisco versus Shanghai margins and costs, and is complete with colour coding and shading. Chicks, they really are too smart. It's scary. If not for hormonal volcanoes wreaking havoc on the day-to-day reliability of such amazing clarity of thought, men would be obsolete. I managed to hide how impressed I am, and offer advice on how to coordinate the spreadsheet, tailor it to our needs, improve it. I have no idea what I'm saying, but she seems to be nodding and making the adjustments. I have actually assisted, though I would not have been able to produce this spreadsheet alone. The assessor looks suitably impressed and asks few questions. When we ask his advice, he's neutral or in simple agreement with the approach we've taken. Beautiful. The third trading window is nearing a close, and we've locked in a $3 million profit on a cargo totalling 70,000 tonnes. We have reservations about committing to the final pricing before the 4th window, but together draw the same conclusion, that in the near term, prices in supplier ports look set to rise, while end users face likely supply gluts. Freight rates should inevitably drop with this imbalance and may provide profitable opportunities. However, we mutually decide copper price fluctuations are a greater downside risk to our profitable position than the upside of falling freight. Adrian, our assessor, another Englishman, agrees with our analysis and concurs it is sound commercial reasoning to lock trades in and be safely money-making rather than risk waiting and become loss-producing. The 4th window email arrives. Primo. Our $3 million profit would have been eroded to $500K had we not crystallised the trades and locked in our positions. We're able to sit back and watch the other pairs scramble. Adrian shakes our hands and wanders off. Sarah and I talk about boxing kangaroos, crocodile hunter manslaughter, and kebabs. It's 12:30 p.m. We're breaking for lunch, seated once more in the original large boardroom where the day began. I'm refuelling on an ethnically diverse variety of foods in keeping with the many nationalities in the room. There's some couscous and Moroccan lamb, a vegetarian samosa and some buttered chicken, a slice of pizza and more black coffee. I'm no foodie. If I was having a bowl of Weet-Bix and Vegemite on toast, I'd be right at home. Nothing would change. I would still be munching away and mulling over my strategy of how to approach the remainder of simulation day. A phenomenally fit-looking bloke next to me says hello. Hi, I'm Sebastian. I'm from Madrid. That was an intense morning, yeah? I can't wait to get back to the hotel later, do some yoga, run the bath and chill. What are you? Sebastian looks to be fresh from a swimming session with Michael Phelps, a human V, in preparation for Olympic glory, and he seems to have confused simulation day with some sort of anti-gluten meditation course. Oh yeah, hi mate. I'm Flynn from Sydney. Yeah, intense is an understatement. Not sure about the yoga and bath, mate, but I'll definitely be having a beer and a chill as soon as this next simulation is over. Lunch winds to a close and I'm cursing the array of foodstuffs I wallop down. The mixed ethnicities have declared jihad on each other in my stomach. The 6 mugs of black coffee throughout the morning are serving as abdominal kerosene to fuel the racial tension. The fighting will inevitably end in an inverted, almond-tinged mushroom explosion, straight to the core of some unfortunate Genevan porcelain. I can't wait. The number 2 is far and away my favourite. David begins his explanation of Game 3. I can only hope he isn't drowned out by my grumbling guts. How's everyone going so far? Yeah, great. Well, you're almost finished. For the final game, you'll be in groups of 3. There are 18 of you here today, and you have been divided into 3 groups of 6 and 2 groups of 3 within each. There will be 3 members playing the role of buyers, 3 members as sellers. You are working in teams to either buy or sell an iPhone-type widget with various parameters, which will be explained to you in the instructions we will soon hand out. The aim of the game is to strike a deal. For the initial 45 minutes, you'll be in a room in your group of 3 to work out the best possible strategy for the product you're trying to buy or sell, what terms of the deal you require to make a profit. You will have 2 assessors in the room with you, watching and assessing. For this game, they are not a resource to ask questions of. After 45 minutes of strategy, you will have a 5-minute recess. Then, the final 45 minutes of the day will involve each of the 3 groups of buyers and sellers facing off in a boardroom, negotiating price and quantity for an allocation of these widgets. There, you will have a total of 4 assessors, the 2 from the buyer and seller sides, making assessments of the negotiation and taking note of how your boardroom antics match with your strategy ideas. There are more rules and specifics to the game, which are outlined in the instructions, and I will let you work these out in your strategy session. Remember, we want you to strike a deal, and ideally, that deal is to your benefit as a buyer or seller. As always, good luck. Game 3 is a tricky bugger. My brief, along with my partners David from Luxembourg and Peter from Germany, is to sell as many iPhone widgets as possible. There are 4 widget colours: black, red, green and blue. Every other detail of widgetdom is identical, aside from the fact that our imaginary warehouse is stocked with 7,000 black and 3,000 green widgets, which we apparently didn't sell last year. If we can sell these, it's pure profit, the sweetest kind. To manufacture a red or blue widget will cost €20, black and green widgets only cost €15. Racism and inequality are rife in imaginary widget manufacturing. Our sales target is 15,000 widgets, colour unimportant, and a minimum of €100,000 profit. Profit does not discriminate. 2 very similar looking men sit in the shadows of our room at the far end of another mahogany table. They look to be in their early 40s, both wearing crisp white business shirts and navy blue ties, and each sport long hair slicked back like European love children of Gordon Gekko. For their sins, they are watching David, Peter and my good self strategizing. You have to feel for them. It must be torturous. Games 1 and 2 were a dream, smashing the lights out in the individual game and then blessed with a perfect partner for the pairs performance. Now I'm shunted with 2 complete nonces, useless fodder who simply must have known someone high up in the company to have been ushered through this far into the selection process. They waffle and pontificate about our best approach as sellers of these imaginary widgets and give no thought to a specific number with which we can turn a profit based on the information we've been given. I've spent half an hour with David and Peter and I hate them intensely. Not because they're totally useless. Most people are. But because they are wasting my precious time at a point in my one and only existence when time is well and truly of the fucking essence. While they've been wanking on about God knows what, Wimbledon, castles along the Rhine, fuck knows, and I especially do not care. I'm busy scribbling away trying to work out the combinations and permutations of different coloured widgets that would be ideal to smash the €100,000 profit target and shift some damn widgets. I try to invite them into this line of gaming. Oi David, you mind passing that calculator? Oh cheers. Let's work out some formula for widget colours, quantities, profit or loss numbers, final sales prices for each. I mean, fuck, it's not rocket science. But you do want a number in your head of where you profitably sell your damn product before entering a meeting with the purchasers. David passes the calculator over, and he and Peter continue talking strategy with each other, how to sell sort of bollocks. I am grateful the 2 men in the shadows can see that I'm the brains behind this outfit, because there's no doubt once I tell my pals from Luxembourg and Germany the perfect combination of colours and quantities to nail this game, they will have no hesitation in claiming my commercial thinking is something to be shared equally, 3 ways. It's time to negotiate. Opposite the united colours of Luxembourg, Germany and Australia sit Jean from France, Henry from the UK and Xia from China. Honestly, Xia. A good sort too, though I'm not convinced she was born a woman. We are joined by 2 further assessors who have spent the previous 45 minutes surveying Jean, Henry and Xia in the throes of strategizing next door. The assessors look impressive and ominous, as though they just walked out of a Gillette commercial, razor sharp. Henry is the definition of fine British breeding. No doubt he attended Eton or somewhere similar, played rugby with Prince Harry and can trace his lineage back to one of the many King Henrys. I am pleasantly enjoying watching his posh English accent tear apart some of the confused tangents my Luxembourgian simulator colleague has tried to float across the table. David, we are not interested in financing arrangements. As already discussed, we are prepared to pay the full price and delivery. That is not the issue. We need simply to agree a price, a delivery date, and a quantity for each. Not a sliding scale of prices and cascading dates with various interest repayment options against myriad colour schemes. Go, Henry. I love it. Myriad. Nice word. Here's what you need to understand about David. He is a waste of space. Opening the 45-minute negotiations with the delivery of an impromptu 10-minute gambit, a very much non-agreed to or even mentioned sales pitch during our 45-minute strategy session. Henry is now decimating him in a way that I only wish I could if I'd known precisely what a liability David would turn out to be in a boardroom. Henry, Jean, and to a lesser extent Ch.2 have torn holes in David. Impervious to the onslaught, a further 25 minutes has now gone by, and Peter and I have been unable to get a word in as David digs us deeper. He has waffled through 35 minutes of blubber Free Willy would be envious of, and has not followed any of the strategic ideas he, Peter, and I had concurred on at the conclusion of the initial 45 minutes together. Prick. Scion deals in a highly lucrative, gritty business where decisions must be made in heartbeats, and delivering impromptu nonsense is anything but tolerated. The assessors know this, I know this. Thankfully, having had the 2 crisp shadows in the strategy session ensures they are well aware that after today, David is heading straight back to whatever chocolate factory he came from. But my opportunity has just presented itself perfectly to salvage a deal, impress the judges, and head to dinner with the board, still holding half a chance of being catapulted into the exalted realm of well-paid cuntiness. Henry, as you're aware, the cost involved in the manufacture of specific iPhone colours is not uniform. With that in mind, however, we appreciate you would prefer a single price per unit. If you are prepared to accept 7,000 black and 3,000 apiece of green, red and blue, 16,000 in total, we can deliver by the 15th of next month at a price of €14.50 per unit. I use my big boy voice, channeling Morgan Freeman as best I can. Having filtered out Peter and David's 45-minute strategic wankfest and run the numbers on profit and loss realities against various colour and quantity combination possibilities, I know perfectly well that if the buyers agree to this, it equates to €117,500 profit for my team. It also has the buyers suitably impressed, as it has become clear throughout the negotiations that they are aware it costs a minimum of €15 simply to manufacture these imaginary things. Excellent. Thank you, Flynn. Please allow us a 5-minute recess to discuss this. As part of the rules, each side is allowed 1 5-minute recess during the negotiation. The 5 minutes is still included in the overall 45, so if they come back in and want to talk further details, a deal is unlikely. Time, as always, is precious. I feel somewhat bad for Peter. He seems a fairly nice chap, but has not had an opportunity to contribute anything. Blame your Lux neighbour though, sport. It's not my fault. Ch.2, Jean and Henry re-enter the room. Yes, those terms will be fine. We agree. Where do we sign? We sign our names, shake hands and leave the room. One of the assessors pulls me aside in the hallway. I like your style, mate. Good job. Simulation day is complete. Musical chairs with the board awaits. I've ditched the tie, undone a couple of buttons of my overpriced power blue business shirt, and am soaking up afternoon rays on the shores of Lake Geneva. I'm still wearing the suit I hadn't graced since my cousin's wedding almost 6 months ago, and am enjoying a plastic stein of Heineken in a waterfront cafe. Mont Blanc is twinkling away high above, the lake is shimmering a pristine turquoise, and a group of garçons are skimming through the water in 12-feet laser sailing boats. The disgruntled Nigerians are yet to unleash their freestyle rapping. The weather is far too picturesque to mesh properly with their tortured Francophile rhymes. Dinner will kick off at 6:30. Steve informed the group at the conclusion of simulation day that dinner was by no means an interview. Instead, it served as an opportunity to mingle in a more relaxed setting. Was he serious? Not an interview, an opportunity to mingle. Get fucked. Here you are, sharing a 7-course meal with a group of money-hungry corporate psychopaths, and you're telling me they just want to mingle. Human resources professionals are certainly excellent comic relief value. No, the fact is, tonight's dinner will be the biggest interview I may ever have. I've done well today, I'm certain, but tonight it's showtime. You can be as smart as you like, but there's not necessarily a lucrative job at the end of that rainbow. No, you must be likeable, a character that people want to be around for a minimum of 12 hours a day for the duration of their working life. I drain the stein and stroll back to the hotel, dodging trams and trying to spot one smile on the countless grim faces in this nation of neutrality. The 3rd course is almost complete. I hope I'm using the correct cutlery for some of these exotic dishes. I feel a little like Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman, only I'm endowed with less of a horse face, but blessed with an equally scintillating pair of legs that were sculpted perfectly to reside in thigh-high fuck-me boots. Steve was partly correct. This is definitely a relaxed setting. Candidates and Scion staff alike, all giving the vino a solid nudge. I'm disciplined and ensuring a healthy gulp of Evian between sips of French wine. Good fortune is being ladled my way in completely undeserved quantities. 2 of Scion's senior members are fellow Australians. Gary Fraser, Global Head of Trading, is a cricket nut. I am now, of course, also tragically infatuated with cricket. The game of long wides, grassy wickets, high tees and endless maidens. Thank you, Ravi, for earlier reminding me of some cricket jargon. And there's Ian Halliday, sporting a cartoon superhero's chiselled jawline. He's from Tasmania, a place best known for incest and apple plantations, two of my favourite topics. Our conversation has instead revolved completely around surfing, his role in the company, no doubt of extreme importance, seeming totally irrelevant to the discussion. Unlike cricket, I don't have to pretend for this. I love surfing. But if anything, I talk down my love affair with the ocean. The connotation with a passion for surfing and a devout bong-worshipping bent is a prevailing train of thought I'm keen to sidestep. There is a Dr. Evil lookalike, Reichardt, from Poland. He says very little, but appears sanguine enough as he devours wine and polishes his pinky signet ring. His eyes light up on his bowling ball head when he's talking about the joys of risk-taking. The final course arrives and the wine is starting to take effect. I'm now seated with Adrian, my Game 2 assessor, on my right, and have the big cheese, Joel, to my left. They are giving it to me. How's this stupid Aussie bloody physiotherapist? He thinks he can come over here and trade commodities. Joel's revelling. Yeah, I mean, I've seen some bollocks before, but this is trollop of the highest order. Adrian, also loving heaping shit on me. You reckon we send him on his way? Tell him to continue touching up old ladies? May as well. Have a look at him. He probably loves it. Not as much as when he's touching up the fellas. They are crying with laughter and guzzling champagne. Yeah, I'm not too bad with the old ladies, I guess. That's why both your mums like to fake groin injuries and fly to Sydney to feel my tender touch. Too far? Ha! You're a good fucking sport, Flynn. Now get properly drinking, you pussy. Joel fills my glass to the brim. His attitude to drinking bearing the hallmarks of his approach to trading. Go big, or fuck off. Dinner winds up shortly after 10 p.m. I'm jet-lagged and hyper-simulated, confidence sky-high after being forced to drain champagne for the past quarter of an hour. Steve thanks us for attending the day and assures us that decisions will be made within the next few days as to whether or not we've gained a place on the Junior Trader program. He then invites us to join a farewell party with some other Scion staff at a nearby bar for a metals trader whose last day was today. The metals trader's retiring. He's 33. Some of the senior Scion guys choose to head home for the evening at the conclusion of dinner. I shake countless hands, wish them well and hope these members of the top brass remember me with the fondness required to give me the thumbs up when decisions are made as to who deserves a role. The majority of candidates and about half of the Scion dinner party are now trudging through light rain and the brisk Swiss night air to the bar nearby. Entering the bar, the Gillette shadow men from Game 3 of today's simulation define the look of basically everyone here. Black or navy suit, matching black or navy tie, crisp white shirt, clean shaven, slick hair. It must be the uniform. There are a handful of stunning women too, sophistication and sexuality wrapped perfectly in physique-compressing black dresses. Ravi tries to hound me again. The cricket topic has hopefully been bludgeoned to death earlier in the day, but now he wants to know all about what I thought of today's events. With the precision of a seasoned socialite, I beg his pardon and escape to the toilet. Seriously, just fuck off, Ravi. I deftly avoid him as I return from the gents. Joel is camped at the edge of the bar with a dozen others, gulping whatever drink makes its way into his vicinity. He sees me waiting to order, swoops a drink from the table next to him, hands it to me. Grab this, Flynn, all yours. Come out front for a chat. I need a smoke. I follow the big cheese through the crowd to the front balcony. We're standing under the cover of an awning. Almost stationary raindrops glow in the car headlights on the street in front. So, how'd you like today? He squeezes the words out through one side of his mouth as he lights up a cigarette. I was nervous at first, but I think I settled in fairly quickly. I loved it. Yes, indeed. A nervous little pussy you certainly were. I gave you a good rev up though. Great, excellent. Listen, you did incredibly well, mate. I expected you to be total shit. Thought it'd be a good laugh to get you over here. Great effort, but listen. Joel, oh my God, how are you? A sex goddess hidden beneath corporate clothing constraints screeches straight into the conversation. The fucking timing. Piss off, you gorgeous skank. Please. Oh, Rose, my dear, I'm great. It's so good to see you. How have you been? Rose, curse her, as she has ruined whatever piece of wisdom the big cheese was about to impart. But bless her, she is one amazing creature, clad in a tight black dress which any grown man with flesh and fury would simply love to tear straight off and admire the glory of her curves, naked and unleashed, bobbing up and down. Joel is polite enough to introduce me to this stunning interruption, but his attention is obviously now focused on breasts rather than junior trader recruitment. You can't blame him. What a rack. Our beers are nearly empty. I tell him I'll grab him another, but I won't. I hope he cops a nice blow in the toilets and associates his last images of me with good times and a beautiful cunt. I return towards the bar. My fellow candidates are conspicuous through a combination of nervous unease and a need to impress, while the scion proper are easily recognisable through raucous laughter and a sense of complete ownership over the place. I look out to the front balcony. No sign of Rose and Joel. I steal a quick glance at the room. The scion heavyweights are gone. Fuck this. I'm exhausted. Time for a smoke bomb. I pretend to go off to the toilet and make a beeline for the exit, racing off through the steady rain and straight back to the hotel. I walk into my room fully drenched, throw my soaked clothes on the bedside couch, jump in the shower, relive the day, dry off and look once more at the spastic in the mirror. Good job, retard. I set my alarm for the morning, crack a Heineken from the minibar and fall asleep watching CNN. Simulation complete. I land home from Geneva. My mum and stepdad pick me up from the airport to take me home. 5 minutes into the journey, the mobile screen lights up with the dizzying array of numbers I've now grown used to. Mum's a nervous wreck as I let her know this is probably Geneva calling, and my stepdad pulls over. I step out of the car to take the call. Hello, Flynn speaking. Flynn, Steve here. You make it home okay? Yes, great flight. I just landed. Brilliant. Well, I have some excellent news. Everyone was very impressed with you in Geneva. Of the 18 candidates, we felt there were only 5 with the calibre we require. We'd like to offer you a position. You fucking biote. My calibre is delighted for the recognition. I let a smile break and Mum immediately goes mental a few metres away. It's not easy to maintain the facade of coolness when your mum is having a rather noisy motherly fit. Decibels of maternal hysterics are no doubt flying down the phone line. Covering the receiver, I swiftly walk away down the street. Oh, that's great, Steve. Thank you very much. We would like you to start in Singapore on oil, spend the initial 6 months there, and then, given your experience in metals and fluency in Mandarin, send you to Shanghai, our hub of Asian metals trading. You'll be employed via the Singapore office, paid in Singapore dollars. We'll start you on a 200,000 Singapore dollar salary. Yeah, that seems about right, seeing as I have no talent, no ability, no training, and let's not focus on that little Mandarin piece of misinformation. I'll get some beginner textbooks tomorrow to rectify that in no time. I'll email the contract now. We can sort out the exact start date as soon as you read and sign the contract. Once again, Flynn, we are very impressed with you and can't wait to get you trading. If you are as good as we think you will be, you should expect to be earning in excess of $1 million a year in the very near future. Let me just clarify. I am very glad you feel that way. That's great news, Steve. I cannot wait to join. I'll read the contract immediately and let you know if there are any concerns. I'm sure it'll be fine. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Welcome aboard, Flynn.